Welcome back to the HIA-LI Economic Development Summit. I'm Eliud Custodio with Turn Orange Studio, and I have the pleasure of sitting with Ed Smyth, Town Supervisor of Huntington. Welcome. My pleasure. So this is the first conversation after the panel.
Yes.
Fantastic panel. Did you hear anything that you were surprised to hear?
No, I think the big focus there, I'm glad to hear what was said, because one of the principal focuses that you heard throughout the entire discussion was about solid waste or garbage,
Right.
on Long Island. It's, it's not the sexiest topic to talk about, but it's by far the most important topic that Long Islanders are going to be facing over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I didn't know that our household garbage became energy. Yeah, it was insightful.
Yes. People say, I'm going to throw something away. I'm going to throw it out. You don't throw out anything. It goes someplace.
Right.
And it goes to a waste to energy plant, which is essentially the garbage gets burned in a turbine, turns a turbine. That turbine creates electricity, but the ash that's generated by the burnt garbage, that's what gets disposed of as municipal solid waste. And as a little bit of trivia, be observant around you next time you're on the Long Island Expressway and you see a flatbed tractor trailer going by with big square bales on the back of it, and says MSW spray painted on the side of those bales. That is municipal solid waste. So you learned something new today.
Oh, I definitely learned something new.
But that's when people say that that's what's going to happen if those waste to energy plants get closed, and when the Brookhaven landfill closes, and they say, okay, well, the only option to get that waste off Long Island is going to be by tractor trailer. You're going to see probably thousands of those trucks on Long Island Expressway and other roadways to truck that constantly. That's the only other option.
Wow. Well, for those who couldn't make the panel today, what were you most proud to share for the town of Huntington?
Well, the town of Huntington, the biggest thing that we have going on in the town right now is the Melville Town Center Overlay District, which is a redevelopment of the Melville, an office park in Melville that's south of the Long Island Expressway, north of Costco.
Okay.
The property owners don't like to hear this, but it's a blighted office park. There are some buildings down there that are Class A buildings. They're fully occupied. However, what we've seen is those Class A buildings essentially cannibalized the tenants out of the B and C class buildings into their buildings, and now we have a growing vacancy rate in the Melville area. And what we've adopted in the town of Huntington is a plan to create a mixed-use, walkable downtown area north and south along Maxis Road and Bayless, Maxis, Corporate Center Drive, and Melville Park Road.
Excellent. So I've heard a lot from some of the other speakers about grants and other federal and state money. Is that being involved in this project?
Not specifically in the Melville Town Center. We're certainly going to be seeking grants. We are.
Is that an easy process?
No, it's not. But we are always open to state and federal money. If they want to send us a check, we'll be happy to receive it. We did receive a very generous downtown revitalization grant in the town of Huntington for Huntington Station.
Okay.
It was $10 million to revitalize that area. But again, even though it wasn't directly tied to a sewer line that was extended through Huntington Station, we were told by the panelists that was one of the principal considerations that made Huntington Station stand out in its application for that grant, is the fact that the town of Huntington took 100% of its COVID money, grant money that we received, put 100% of it, $22 million, into the Huntington Station sewer project, and it was matched by the state and the county.
Excellent. So obviously a lot of the challenges in Huntington are shared with the other town supervisors in their areas. How does aligning yourself with HIA-LI help with this?
What happens is everybody they get on the same page.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that probably picked up, I was the final speaker today.
Yeah.
It's difficult to be the fifth speaker on a panel like that, because what you hear common threads for every town. And I think HIA is a way to bring everybody together and get everybody on the same page. But you hear it on a panel like this because we're all talking about the same issues, because the towns, generally, we have the very similar interests, similar projects going on, similar concerns. One of my repetitive lines I always say that what the town works on at the municipal level is parks, beaches, roads, and garbage. That is literally 98% of what we do on a regular basis: parks, beaches, roads, and garbage. And when you listen to the other town supervisors, it's the same thing. what's happening in Huntington is happening in Smithtown and Brookhaven. We all have our local issues that we're dealing with individually, but for the most part, operationally, it's parks, beaches, roads, and garbage.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for being part of the panel, and thanks for sitting down with us.
My pleasure. Appreciate your time.